Hey, watch this video about FHA loans and give me a call when you're done.
Hey, this is Chris Trapani, the Mortgage Pro. This video is going to teach you 8 steps of what you need to do to buy a home using an FHA loan. It's going to give you guidelines, it's going to give you all kinds of things, what documentation you're going to need, and how the whole home buying process works with an FHA loan. Step number 1. FHA is not an actual loan. FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. And what it does is it insures the loan so that people with a small down payment can buy the home. Otherwise, without the insurance, the risk would be too great. Nobody could buy a home in that situation. Step number 2, as low as a 500 FICO score, you can buy from 500 to 579, 10% down. From 580 and above, we're looking at only 3.5%. Gone are the myths of the 20% down to buy a house. You can buy your own house with as little as 3.5% down with an FHA loan. Step number 3. Here's a question people always ask me. Chris, I have a bankruptcy. Well, with an FHA loan, 2 years must have elapsed from the time it was discharged till the time you can buy. Chris, I have a foreclosure. I had a short sale. 3 years must have elapsed from the day of the short sale or foreclosure, and you could buy your own home again. Step number 4, here's the debt ratio. If you make $10,000 a month, and I'm not saying if you make 10 grand, but I'm just giving it to you for even purposes, you can go to 47% of that $4,700 for qualification purposes for the house. 57% when we take the total house payment and the car payment and the student loans, child support, alimony, credit cards, all the debts put together, 57%. So take your monthly income before taxes. 57% will include your debt. 47% will be the house payment. It must require and hit both those criteria. Step number 5, income requirements. Well, in most cases, you must have a 2-year history of working in the same field, in the same industry. Example, if you just started a job working for Federal Express delivering packages, and you started doing that today, well, if you don't have a history in delivery for the last 2 years, you're going to have to wait 2 years going forward. If you worked for UPS for the last 2 years, or the post office, or something in the same type of industry, then as long as you have that 2-year history, we're good, even though you just started the new job. Now, if you're self-employed, what we're probably going to do is we're going to average your income over 2 years. That's your net income. That's what after you write everything off, all your expenses. And if you just have a job and maybe you're salaried, very simple. But if you're hourly, we're going to calculate your hourly and we're going to average your overtime over 2 years. So we're going to look at things in a number of different ways. We're experts at figuring this out. Now, once in a while, people say to me, Chris, I've only been doing this 6 months. And I ask, did you get an education in this field? Maybe a college degree, maybe a certificate program. Maybe you went to a year of training to become a radiologist or a radio technician, that type of thing. Well, we can use that in lieu of the 2 years experience. So there's a lot of tips, tricks, trades, little things we can do, but you need to show me what it is so I can help you qualify for that loan. Step number 6. Documentation. We must prove, everything must be forensically proved on paper. How much do you make? How much have you made for the past 2 years? So the documentation I'm going to start with, I'm going to tell you, we're going to need 2 years W-2s from your job. We're going to need 2 years federal taxes. Once in a while, we won't need them, but we will require getting them just in case. We're going to need 1 month's pay stubs. So if you've been on the job for 10 years or you've been on the job for 2 months, I need the last month's pay stubs. And this is for all borrowers. So if there's a husband and wife both working, need it for both. We also need 2 months bank statements for any accounts that you might have. Savings account, retirement account, checking account, all the different banks or credit unions or whatever type of money accounts, we need 2 months worth, and we need all pages. If a page says this page is intentionally left blank, I need that page too. Sounds silly, I know, but those are the guidelines. Also, need your driver's license and social security card. This is super important in today's day and age of what we have to deal with in the Patriot Act, but it's federal law. We have to get those documents. Now, once in a while, if somebody's had a bankruptcy in the past, we need the bankruptcy papers. If you've been divorced, we need the divorce papers. We need some extra documentation, and that's a case-by-case basis. We'll let you know what they are based on your individual circumstance. So the paperwork is super important. If we ask for 10 things and we get 9, it's kind of the same as having 0. We need them all. Step number 7, going to teach you what the loan process is and how that works. What I like to do is get you, first of all, not pre-approved. Most lenders out there, they do these pre-approvals and, well, they're only worth the paper that they're written on. What I like to do is gather all documentation. I actually send it to the underwriter. The underwriter is the person who approves or denies the file. I send all the paperwork as if we already have a property, we're ready to go. I send you credit, I send you bank statements, I send you everything that it takes. And I let the underwriter say, yes, you're approved, we need this additional documentation, which is very common, but when you make an offer, you're going to do it from a position of strength. So we get you pre-approved. And now what's going to happen is you're going to go with a realtor. If you don't have a realtor, I know all the best, most experienced realtors in the industry. I'll give you a great realtor. Now, you're going to go with a realtor in your price range. He's going to show you houses, condominiums, whatever you're looking for in your individual circumstance. And if you find that 1 or 2 properties that you say, hey, this is the one, what happens is the realtor is going to write an offer and submit it to the agent who did the listing. And I'm going to assist them with helping to get your offer accepted. In today's day and age, there are 7 to 10 offers for every property on the market because there's a shortage of houses. And this is driving the prices up. So time is of the essence. You want to get this going. Now, here's what happens. They're going to review the offers. They want to see which property and which offer is going to make the most sense for them. Obviously, they're going to look at which one's going to pay us the most money. They're going to look at which one is most likely to close. That's super important because sometimes there are offers that are not very good, not very strong borrowers. So they're going to evaluate all these things. That's where I get involved. I call them up and tell them, this is Chris the Mortgage Pro, and I have a slam dunk deal ready to go that is not pre-approved, it's already approved. That will raise your offer near the top of the list, if not to the top. So that's a very big deal. Once the offer is accepted, what happens is we're going to start with the loan process. There's disclosures and paperwork. We're in a very bureaucratic age in the mortgage industry, and the whole mortgage industry is going to require you to sign paper about this thick. Thankfully, we can do it electronically today. You could just click on your computer or on your phone and accept those disclosures. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to order title, we're going to open escrow, and we are going to order the appraisal. We handle all of that so you don't have to. And again, the underwriter is going to look at the appraisal, they're going to look at the title, they're going to look at escrow, see if everything is acceptable. Is there any additional paperwork that we need from you, the borrower? Has anything changed? And when we put all that together and they issue what's called a clear to close, that's when we start doing the happy dance. We're excited, everything's going good. We start the closing proceedings. There's going to be a paper that's going to be emailed to you called a closing disclosure. And that's where it has the final numbers because everything must match to the penny. And you're going to sign the closing disclosure, and 3 days later, you're allowed to sign the loan documents. And usually, either sometimes that day or usually the next day or the day after, we close the loan, it funds the loan, we wire the money to pay it off, and then the escrow and title company work together to record the loan. Once it's recorded, the property is now finally 100%. It's your property. You're a homeowner. And the next thing that happens is the realtor is going to be all excited to come and present you with the keys so you can open the door to your own home. At that point, we have fired your landlord. That's a big deal. Step number 8 is really simple. Call me up. Just call me, text me, email me, whatever it takes. Call one of my assistants. We'll get you the phone numbers. Really simple. We sit down, we go through the process. If you want and you don't have time and time is of the essence, here's what you can do. You go to my website, www.christhemortgagepro.com, and click on the Apply for a Loan button and start filling out the application. It's only going to take you 10 minutes. It's going to be really simple. I can run your credit. I can get the whole thing moving right from where I am. If you'd like to meet, that's great too. I can answer any questions you have. Pick up the phone. Call me. 7 days a week. Nobody can outwork me, and I'm going to help you fire your landlord.